You are listening to the Cattle Call Podcast. This is the place where computer-aided design and drafting meets humor and practicality, with a touch of business acumen thrown in for fun. Jim and Rocco, the owners of Zentech Consultants, the premier U.S. technology consulting firm for architecture, engineering, construction, and manufacturing, discuss the fascinating world of CAD with some humor and some honesty. The Cattle Call Podcast. Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Cattle Call Podcast with Jim and Rocco from Zentech Consultants. I am Jim, your generally jovial host, and with me, as always, is my partner,
Rocco.
Rocco the Dull. Rocco, just Rocco. Someday he's going to come up with some great intro for himself, and I'm going to be stunned. But in the meantime, because he doesn't, that means you all have to suffer through the engineering joke.
Well, I could call you. I could say that I'm Rocco the Great. I mean, I have been called that.
What kind of drugs have you been on? You know you're not allowed to be snorting coke when you're coming on the radio here, dude. What are you doing? Ain't nobody ever called you Rocco the Great.
Okay, Rocco the Remarkable.
Rocco the Mentionable. Oh, it still isn't going to save you from the joke, Rocco. Try as you might, you still have to suffer through. All right, here's your joke for the week, Rocco. How would an engineer describe a polar bear?
I don't know. How would he describe one?
They'll tell you that it's a Cartesian bear after a change of coordinates. Awful joke. All right, folks. So let's get into this. So today I want to talk about digital scanning of either your facility or a construction site. Now, let me start by saying this to all of the people listening who are about to skip this podcast because you either think you don't need scanning or that you already know all there is to know about it. This conversation is not what you think. So please stick around and listen to us for a little bit. Laser scanning and photogrammetry, these aren't new topics to most of us in the design build world, right? We've all used or seen scanners used on jobs before. So, the concept of developing point cloud data and using it to develop site and building information is pretty well understood. What I think isn't understood as well is what you can do with that data once you have it. There really seems to be a huge disconnect between, scanning for design and scanning for construction and scanning for facility and control, maintenance or facility control maintenance is what I was trying to say. And I think there's also a belief out there that scanning technologies and data development is crazy expensive and it's only useful on the largest of projects, and even then only for like real specific areas of our jobs, right? Engineers listening are thinking it's okay, we can use it to speed up exterior surveys, and GCs are thinking they can use it periodically for structural or pad deflection studies and high-end use cases. And everybody else out there is thinking it's just an unnecessary expense on my job. Well, on today's show, I want to intro you guys to some really useful, cost-effective use cases for job scanning in all these related industries that maybe you guys haven't considered before. All right. So Rocco, let's bring you in here. What's the interest level in scanning and point cloud and photogrammetric data that you hear from our clients, particularly those folks who are not in the surveying arena?
Yeah, it's definitely on the increase. I mean, it's something that people ask about. I think we've all seen so much content out there around point clouds, and some people get scared of it because of the size and the time that it takes, right? But the technology's evolving, and the industry's evolving, and we need to be part of it, and you can't be left behind. So there's definitely a lot of interest, and we're having more and more discussions around this topic.
There you go. So that's a great segue into what I want to hit on next, right? And it's, I guess kind of like one of the first things that I really want to point out here is that, scanners and scanning services aren't nearly as expensive as they were even just a few years ago. Like most things in the world, right? As the technology advances, it makes the hardware faster and smaller and, dramatically cheaper. 3D scanning cameras that are far more accurate than anything most of us will ever need are available in that, couple of $100 to a few $1,000 range, depending on how accurate you really need it to be. And that is a far cry from those six-figure laser scanners that we saw over the last decade that only, specialized firms could afford. Even the cost of contracting out scanning services has come down quite a bit. Simply because the equipment is cheaper, right? It works faster, it provides better efficiencies. Companies like Matterport and Leica and Faro have really done a lot of work building out an affordable hardware infrastructure in this space that makes regular scanning on all of our jobs viable for almost everybody listening. So the question really isn't cost anymore. I think it's more about the why of scanning than anything else, right? People are asking, why would I need scanning data for my construction job? Or, why do I need a 3D model of my completed strip mall, right? Why would we get photogrammetric scans of the residential house we just built, right? What is the real world benefit? And those are all fair questions. And the answer isn't a one size fits all, right? Each industry is going to have very specific benefits from scanning their projects. And I want to get into at least the biggest ones that we have been talking about with our clients here at Zentech. So Rocco, when you do talk about scanning with our clients, is it still heavily focused on that high-end laser scanning for surveying and large construction jobs? Or do you see more people kind of looking and coming to us to talk about the, those lower investment day-to-day scanning processes and tools that we're trying to hit on today?
Yeah, it's the lower investment. I mean, look, as much as the industry's super busy, everybody's cost conscious, right? I mean, you want an affordable solution that's going to be effective and give you what you need. So that's my take.
Oh, there you go. Right, that works. So I tell you what, let's start with the design arena and kind of the why and how systems like Matterport are such important tools to have in your arsenal in that design space. Look, when I was in my late 20s, and please don't anybody ask about how long ago that was.
Years,
man,
years.
Decades, and dinosaurs roamed the earth when I was in my 20s. T-Rex, that son of a bitch still owes me $20. Find him if you can. So, sorry, old joke. So look, guys, I worked for an architectural firm. And one of my primary jobs there was doing field surveys for over 100 schools here in the state of New Jersey and developing the CAD models for them, right? For redesign and update under I think it was like a $60 million Abbott district bill for underprivileged schools. And that meant spending days, sometimes weeks at a time at every single school with a staff of 4 guys using tape measures and pads and pencils to sketch out the existing facilities. And then we'd go back to the office and spend weeks developing reliable floor plans, right? Just to get the existing conditions together. And look, I will be honest and tell you that never, not even once, did we ever get a plan done with just one site visit. Right? Every single one of those schools needed multiple site visits and rework on the CAD system. And in the end, honestly, the best that we were able to offer people, and we put this on the drawings, was plus or minus 4 inches in accuracy. That meant, right, with that level of inaccuracy, I guess I'll call it, that when the design time came, nobody trusted those plans. They all went out again and used our plans as a starting point to sketch on top of, but they all had to go back out and do their own field surveys to verify. Right? And even then, nothing ever seemed to quite fit when it came, construction time. Does this sound familiar to you guys listening? It happens all the time. With tools like Matterport, none of that work is necessary, right? We can scan entire schools in a few hours down to a half inch or even better accuracy, right? And the walls and the stairs and all of those things will actually line up and connect the way they're supposed to. And not only that, but modern technology lets us do two things that I could really only dream about, when I was doing this back in the day. First, it will automatically generate 2D floor plans for us so that we can begin layout and design almost immediately in any CAD system. And that can shave, months of time off of the design process. And secondly, since scans from like these Matterport type systems they're a combination of both laser and photogrammetry, right? I can use the point cloud data from that to develop 3D BIM models of the scan facility almost automatically. And I say almost because there's still some manual cleanup and decision work to be done there. But even that, it's not like 10 years ago when we do the scan and then have to go in and use it as a guideline to redraw every wall, every window, et cetera, by hand. The current scan to BIM processes are absolutely amazing, and they are getting better every single day. Rocco, what do you think? I mean, are architects and engineers clients actively using or at least considering, tools like this on their renovation jobs?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, look, there's there's a shortage in case nobody's heard about it, but there's a shortage in labor here. And
hey, there's a shortage? Why didn't you tell me?
So just you don't have time to go and survey and get out in that field once, let alone going out there 2 and 3 times, and who's going to do it? So if technology like this is going to save us time and money, why not?
Yeah.
Right? I mean,
that's it. Saving time and money is what it is all about. All right. So look, I also want everybody listening, I want you guys to consider that same process that I just talked about, right? From the construction end, right? If you're a GC or a developer and you're looking to renovate a building, how much money do you have to spend to have the architect go out and do this site survey, right? Draw plans, develop, the existing BIM model and so on, right? And the reality here, right, from this side is it's not even the cost. It's not the fee that you're paying the architects to do this. It's the time that really bites us in the butt. Look, construction jobs are all about, shaving off that time to delivery, right? Eliminating all of the additional problems that delays cause for, construction loan fees and delay payments and interest and, scheduling conflicts, right? Time literally equals money for the construction world. And that's where, knocking 3 or 4 months off the beginning of a project by scanning, right? So you have all of that initial design data at hand. It really makes a huge, huge difference on a construction job. And I think it also gives the added benefit of integrating photogrammetry or what normal people will call a 3D photo walkthrough. It integrates that to your site automatically, right? And this is a massive benefit during the estimating and the bidding phases of your job. When you're trying to figure out, right, how do I connect, the existing walls to the new walls, or when your estimator needs to clarify on the size of an existing sewer main that no one ever thought to take the measurement of or take a photo of, you don't need to go back out to the site for the 10th time to take those photos and measurements that you missed. You don't miss anything with the scan, right? When you go and send out to bid, you have a detailed walkthrough in 3D that is dimensionally accurate, formatted so that all the bidders can see and access the exact existing conditions, and they can verify measurements and answer questions right from their own desks, right? And that means, fewer disputes, fewer change orders, RFIs, fewer fights with your contractors, right? And all that is great. Those are really important things. And honestly, that's only the tip of the iceberg, right? We have only talked about scanning existing facilities so far, and there's a lot more benefit to talk about still. All right, so let's get a break here to let our sponsors get a word in, and then we'll get into what those benefits are when we get back. All right, so stand by, folks. We'll come back in a minute with more of the Cattle Call Podcast. All right, everybody. Today we are our own sponsor. This is Jim and Rocco with Zen Tech Consultants. And what do we want to talk to the folks about today, Rocco?
We're going to talk about how to make barbecue meatballs. How does that sound, Jim?
Sounds good to me.
All right. So we're here to talk about our Procore services. We are Procore certified consultants here. So, Jim, what kind of services do we offer?
So when it comes to your Procore software, we're here to help you guys with just about everything you need, from getting it set up, configuring it to your needs, importing your client database and your previous contracts, structuring reports, or even just helping you guys on the daily with the the workflow and the things that you have to do on a regular basis in terms of timesheets and really just about anything from, like we said, setup and configuration all the way through advanced training for all of your staff on how to use Procore in the method and the way that works best for your firm. So, Rocco, if folks need a little bit of help with Procore, how do they reach us?
Yeah, you can reach us. Hit up our website. We have a new website. It's zentechconsultants.net. That's ZENTEK consultants.net. Or give us a call, 866-824-4459. Or drop us an email, sales@zentechconsultants.net.
All right, and if you call now, Rocco will tell you how to make meatballs. All right, folks, we'll talk to you later. All right, everybody, welcome back to the Cattle Call Podcast. We're talking about 3D scanning and photogrammetry. And in this half, I want to get into the benefits that can provide throughout the course of construction, along with post-construction and facility management for the long term. So look, as always on the show, right, we focus on the areas that we know so that we can give you good information, right? And this is no different, right? We are Matterport 3D scanning partners. And I know everyone out there is at least passingly familiar with that product. But Zentech approaches this whole idea very differently than just another scanning exercise. There is a whole subset of functionalities that can be integrated into the 3D digital twin structure that the majority of people in our industry seem to have just completely overlooked. With these 3D Matterport scans, we have the ability to integrate the 3D model directly with all of your construction and facility control systems using hyperlinks and cross connections to automate finding and controlling and displaying the information that you need with just a click of the mouse, right? And that's kind of where I want to focus this half of today's podcast. So here's the reality, right? A lot of this that we're talking about is really tough to explain verbally. But we have done a bunch of example videos, right? That people can open up and watch, right? To see how we're using, digital dashboarding and Matterport in conjunction. So why don't you tell us people where and how can they go look at those while they're listening to us babble here on the podcast?
Well, it's our famous website at zentechconsultants.net. And then if you go under the services section, you'll be able to see the videos in action. And I think we have them also posted on YouTube, but it's probably easier to hit the website.
Yep. Always good. Either way, right? We try to get those videos out wherever we can because it's about sparking your imagination. So look, one of the most important things that I want everybody to consider for scanning in the construction place, it's the ability to link your construction documents, your bids, your contracts, and even your project management system directly to that 3D photogrammetry. In other words, if you use your digital walkthrough, right, you're using it on screen through Matterport or whatever, and you want to see, the 2D design, the construction documents or the BIM model or any other construction item related to a particular space or a particular piece of equipment, all you'll have to do is just click on that right in the 3D model, right? Matterport can be built out to cross-link from the digital twin to just about any type of document or website or cloud-based system that you can imagine, right? So, forget trying to remember, file locations and server names and page numbers or, naming conventions. Everybody just points and clicks with their mouse and they get the data that they need. right? And we can even, take this a step further. We can integrate videos and notes, and we can cross-link to RFIs and issues inside your, construction management systems like Procore or Autodesk Construction Cloud. We can tie it all together. And one of the things I regularly recommend to our clients in the construction end is that we do multiple scans throughout the life of your project, right? Particularly at times when your walls and your trenches and so on are open, right? Before they've been closed in, so that we can tag and label hidden utilities and features, right? As well as the more normally visible ones. It provides a really powerful set of tools for dealing with questions or permitting issues or any kind of, modification issues down the line. And it can even be a value add for your clients to turn that over to them as part of your final deliverables, right? There's a lot of potential there. So Rocco, what responses do you get from clients when we show them kind of this interlinking capabilities in a tool like Dashboard? And is it something that you think works better kind of one-on-one in a discussion and a demo, or do you think that, watching the videos and stuff online suffice to get the idea across?
Yeah, well, the video is a good start for sure, right? I mean, listening to us here is a good idea.
That helps. Otherwise, we don't have a show.
Exactly. But yeah, we need to have discussions. I mean, it's partially about imagination, right? But yeah, the discussions, everybody's got specific needs. And so reach out to us. We'd be happy to set up a deeper discussion and even a demo for you guys if needed.
Yeah, it's one of those things where, like, I love doing those, one-on-one conversations because people have, wish lists. Oh, wouldn't it be great if you could do this? And 9 times I think, oh, yeah, I can do that. So if you're wondering, always better to talk with folks. So look, the next big thing I want you guys listening to kind of take from today's discussion is the ability to integrate these 3D digital twins into facility control, facility management, and even marketing arenas. All right. So look, imagine you just built out a beautiful high-rise condo building, right, in downtown Manhattan. How do you sell that to people, right? How do you let folks who are in Hong Kong and London look at that facility without having to jump on a plane and travel to New York, right? How about if they want to be able to get, details on, fixtures, fixture types, floor colors, finishes, right? And what are the surrounding amenities? Where's the gym, right? All of that can be linked right inside the 3D model so that potential buyers can see what they're getting in advance. But same thing, right? What if you're not doing a multi-million-dollar luxury facility, right? What if you're just, we're dealing with a manufacturing facility out in rural Idaho. All right, well, think of it like this. Think of being able to walk through the facility digitally and just click on any piece of equipment, any piece of pipe, or any room and get all the facility control information that you need immediately. Right? Imagine you can just click on a piece of equipment, right? And you can see its maintenance record. You can open the installation manual for that. You get a video of how to operate that machine, or, a work order form if there's a problem with it, right? We can connect to any website or a facility plan or even active, security and surveillance system right from that digital twin and integrate every piece of documentation that you have ever saved regarding that building or that facility to your servers or the cloud. We can connect to all of it. So Rocco, this really overall, right? This all ties into the digital dashboarding concept, right? Which we work with really heavily for our government and public facility clients, right? We work with them a lot on this. And again, same thing. I know it's on our website, but a little more specific, where can people go to get more info on this type of work? And even if they're not familiar with the concepts of digital dashboarding.
I mean, there's a lot of information even on the Matterport website, if you're talking about specifically Matterport. I mean, there's content on YouTube, but I think it's about a discussion. Let's talk about what you have in mind. have an imagination, and chances are we can help you with it. So reach out to us.
Yeah, it's about changing the way you work on a daily basis. To don't be stuck. I guess I try to tell people, don't get stuck in the way we've always done it. We can make it faster and easier and visual. Right? We're visual creatures, humans. It makes it a lot easier this way. All right, so I think the last thing that I want everybody to consider for these Matterport digital twins, it's how they can be used for facility and public access marketing and data communications. So, what if you're building or you're managing an airport, right? There would be our example, right? So just imagine an online 3D version of the facility, right? Where folks can see, where do I park? And then they can visually map out the quickest route to get to their gate, right? And then they can click to get current flight information, right? And then as they walk through that, they can click on this store and that restaurant so that I can get menus and hours of operations, right? All of this right from home before they even set foot out the door, right? Same thing, right? Consider a government agency, right? That has to manage, a few hundred buildings with thousands of leases, millions of square foot of space inventory. They even have to track equipment, that what's in what room and where it is and how does it all tie together, and all the data we talked about earlier, right? These Matterport and Bluebeam digital dashboard integrations, they can handle all of that and a ton more. It really is. It's an entirely new way of building user interfaces for every single type of system and every type of project that we deal with. Right? Like I said earlier, we can remove concerns over, searching and naming and how do I find data, right, into an entirely digital model that's going to work for everybody involved, right? From the initial concept all the way through project delivery and ongoing facility controls over the course of decades, right? And all of that. And we can even build in, better, more intuitive display and access tools for the public at large. I mean, it's really just staggering what the potential is here. So you see, I told you guys there was more to this, scanning conversation than most of you had ever really considered. And look, I'll sum it up like this, and we've said it a couple of times throughout the show here. If the people listening, if you guys provide a bit of imagination and kind of develop a wish list state of what you'd like to see, right, your digital twin of your facility or your project do, the chances are we can make that happen with digital dashboarding and Matterport 3D models. Right? So you know what? Just give Rocco a call and he'll set up a meeting so we can have that one-on-one, and we'll tell you how we can make that work for you guys. All right? So I will leave you guys to start thinking on that while we get out of here. Say goodbye to the good people, Rocco.
Goodbye, good people.
There you go. We'll catch you next time on the Cattle Call Podcast. All right, everybody. Today's Cattle Call was brought to you courtesy of Zentech Consultants. That's Rocco and I. Zentech Consultants works with design and manufacturing firms to help our clients purchase and implement the software that they need in these complex industries. We provide a single point of contact for clients to buy, develop, and learn the most vital software systems for your specific needs. Zentech strives to be your trusted technology partner from your initial needs all the way through long-term support and training for your entire staff. So Rocco, why don't you tell them how to reach out to Zentech?
All right, yeah, you can reach out to us through zentechconsultants.net. You can email us at sales@zentechconsultants.net, or you can even call us 866-824-4459.
Excellent. We look forward to hearing from y'all.